Follow us on social media, Twitter and Instagram. Subscribe on YouTube. Don't forget to like. So I want to make some predictions on the upcoming 2024 Nosferatu remake based on scenes and shots from the original film, which also inspired the other two remakes after it. So if you don't want any spoilers, I mean, this won't be spoilers for the new Nosferatu so much as I haven't seen it yet. This is just me making assumptions based on the previous movies. So if you've seen those films, you probably know what I'm talking about. If you haven't and you're curious, then stick around. This should be interesting. We could come back to this and see how incorrect I was about my hypothesis. So from the trailers, really is what I'm getting my predictions from. I've basically taken these shots that are recognizable from the old film and this new film. And this is what I'm going to base some of my predictions on. But okay, so the first one I want to address is the window scene where she's floating in this possessed manner, which looks like it's going to be a very new iconic scene to exist in this film iteration. But also, too, there are clips of Ellen's premonitions, and I'm assuming too that Ellen is going to be a much bigger character in this version of Nosferatu. I'm not sure how the split is going to be between her and Thomas. I mean, obviously the story revolves around the both of them, and I'm curious as to how is it that Nosferatu is going to see her photo, because from the previous films, either clumsily Thomas drops the picture in front of him, or he's curious in some way. He comes across the picture somehow. So how is it that Ellen is going to be introduced to Nosferatu in this film? Because I did notice that he does get handed the locket with her photo in it, we see briefly. So how does that interaction happen between him and Thomas? Is that also going to happen? I'm assuming at the negotiation where Thomas is trying to negotiate the sale of the property to Nosferatu. And the same with Nock's character, this inside man, the right hand man for Nosferatu. How much more expanded are we going to get on his story? Because based on the new symbol, this occult looking pentagram, are we going to get some lore on the occult backstory of Nosferatu? However, I will say one thing I'm not looking forward to. Well, it's not that I'm not looking forward to it because I don't know what they're going to do. But the scene where Thomas cuts his thumb while cutting bread, I just don't know if I can handle any more of Nosferatu sucking on this man's thumb. Because in the Dracula film, the Bram Stoker Dracula film with Keanu Reeves and Gary Oldman, Keanu Reeves cuts himself while shaving, which feels a little bit more realistic than I accidentally cut my thumb while I was cutting the bread. Does that make sense? Because cutting your thumb while cutting bread kind of seems like a little bit of a goofy move. Whereas when Keanu Reeves is just shaving his face and accidentally cuts himself, that seems a lot more of a realistic scenario. That doesn't seem so silly. But yeah, so I'm really curious as to what's going to be the incident that draws blood from Thomas, which kind of opens up Nosferatu into this shark mode, kind of smelling blood in the water. But God, I hope it is not him sucking on his thumb. And then too, when Thomas discovers the coffin, because that's also a scene I noticed from it was either the trailer or the behind the scenes, but I seen a clip of Thomas coming across the tomb, and I really love this sarcophagus coffin tomb that Nosferatu is going to reside in. I actually went and bought the bucket because they were selling them at Cinemark. So I was like, you know what, let me get a bucket before they sell out. But I'm just wondering what are the details, if any changes are going to be, what changes will be made? Because obviously there's going to be a lot of new material in the film. Because I think we're looking at a 2 hour runtime, whereas the original film is only an hour and maybe hour and a half. So there's about a half hour of extra story. One thing I really hope that they give a little bit more time to, a little bit more narrative information for, is the ship voyage. I hope we get a little bit more of Nosferatu in action on the ship. And from the looks in the trailers, it looks like there was one particular clip. It's like a second long, but I'm assuming this was in the ship where it looks like Nosferatu gets his fangs into a ship, one of the sailors. Also, in the original film, there was a lot of foreshadowing of the plague that was going to wreak havoc on the town of Wisborg. So, overall, how much of Nosferatu's presence is going to have an effect on the town of Wisborg before he even arrives? Because it seems like in the previous films, even though he's not in the town yet, his presence is still having this cursing effect on the town and the people of the town. And will we see how Frederick and Anna Harding suffer? Because I remember in the films she does die, but we don't see how. I think she was either has the plague or I forget. But in the trailers for the new film, it looks like she's victim to a unpleasant neck kiss from Nosferatu, if you know what I'm saying. And then Frederick, he looks like he has the plague or something in one of the clips where he's lying down on a might be like a coffin or something. But look, if you look at his face, it looks like he has some kind of breakout on his face. It got on Anna too, actually, on the same area of their face. Only on Frederick, it looks like it's on the right side of his face. Whereas Anna, I do believe it looks like it's on the left side of her face, but they both look like they have symptoms of the plague. I'm assuming when Hutter escapes from the castle, I think that's where the innkeepers of the lodge that he stays in before going to the castle, I think they might be some kind of religious group or different like gypsies, or I'm not sure what they're supposed to be, but it looks like they kind of revive him back to life. Or I'm not sure if he die, not that he dies, but I'm sure they revive him in some way. But yeah, it looks like there's got to be a lot more spiritual elements in this film, religious elements that have an impact, especially with Willem Dafoe's character, because he seems like he's going to be that character in a film who kind of is seen as like a conspiracy theorist, maybe, and people probably just think of him as like a like a crazy person. Like people are just like, oh, I don't know, he's just the village psycho. He's like the Alex Jones of the town or something like that. But he's right, you know, like he's crazy, but he's right, you know, like Alex Jones or something like that. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with Willem Dafoe's character, because I don't know if Willem Dafoe's supposed to be the Van Helsing of the film. I'm curious what goes on with there. And it seems also too, what I kind of think is going to happen because of my thoughts on this Willem Dafoe Alex Jones connection is that I think Willem Dafoe and Lily Rose Depp are going to have almost like they're going to be like a team, and they might be the ones to, well, obviously Ellen is part of Nosferatu's downfall, but Nosferatu even, does he lose in this film? I feel like with Robert Eggers, it might be a film where the bad guy wins. But if not, I'm also thinking from the trailers, there's a scene where Willem Dafoe's character is standing over this burning structure, or he's standing inside of a burning structure with the sarcophagus of Nosferatu. So does Willem Dafoe and Lily Rose Depp, do they kind of somehow strategize a way or strategize a plan to take down Nosferatu? And maybe that's what's happening when Willem Dafoe's character is in that burning building with the sarcophagus. I don't know. But there's a lot going on based on these three previous films. I'm just trying to puzzle piece what might happen in the new film. And actually, man, I really hope, because I've been on this Nosferatu marathon, I hope I don't spoil too much of the experience for myself. But I'm also expecting from Robert Eggers the Robert Eggers twist to Nosferatu, kind of like The Witch, where the witch is like this animal in nature who's preying upon this family, like a wild animal. When you watch National Geographic and you watch lions hunt down a gazelle, that's how the witch felt. Like the witch was like a predator in nature, and that's how I'm assuming that Nosferatu might also go, where he's just a predator in nature hunting down his prey. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. For more uneducated expert analysis on film and cinema and the creative field in general, follow us on Twitter at Ghettoplex_MP4, on Instagram at Ghettoplex.mp4, and subscribe to us on YouTube at Ghettoplex.